I have no words. As a manga reader, I've been waiting for this fight for a long time. Guys, even since season 1 in my reviews, I have literally said Todoroki vs Deku is going to be one of the greatest fights in the series. One of the greatest fights in the series. And did I tell you no lie? I did not tell you no lie. This is easily one of the greatest fights in the series. This is hands down the best episode of My Hero. I know I said that before when Deku and Todoroki clashed, but now this is a full-fledged fight. Oh my god. Sit down, relax, hit the video with a like if you definitely enjoyed this week's episode. And just for Todoroki, hit that like button down for me down below. Subscribe, and I need to hear your thoughts. I need comments in the comment section, alright? I know people usually don't comment, few do, but no. This time, guys, let's collectively come together because this episode is something. So starting off, it's getting into the fight. They're coming to the ring, and it's getting into the fight. And they both know in their heads only one of them will make it out of here, and they both have a lot of passion and drive when it comes to this whole hero shit, you know? For us manga readers, we know what's going on, but for anime-only watchers, you guys now know the backstory of Todoroki, why he is the way he is, coming from an abusive home. Even then, his mother being mentally abused and physically abused by the father to where then she needs to feel the need to abuse it on somebody else. It happens in real life too, where if someone is abused, then they feel the need that, oh, I want to feel powerful too, so they abuse somebody else, not unconsciously. And that's what she did. She threw water on his face, getting annoyed that she wants nothing to do with him since she doesn't want to raise him anymore. She wants nothing to do with him because this raising him gets her hurt mentally and physically. It's a lot of burden on her since Endeavor's trying to make him the greatest hero of all time. Greatest quirk user of all time. That's a lot of pressure for a mother who just had this child and was only 5. Who's only 5. And how Endeavor talks about it, as a young boy, Endeavor was already a god. But like, come on, man, just because you know you do this don't mean that, you know, he's gonna do this, you know, just support your child in any path that they go through. But he's forcing Todoroki to go through this path of righteousness, you know? Do everything that he couldn't do. A ton of fathers do this where I'm gonna let it out on my children because I can't repent the mistakes that I have made, so put it out on them. And since he made the mistake of becoming the second hero and not the best, not beating All Might, or not being better than All Might, he now, you know, vents everything towards his son. And that's a lot to take in. I'm not gonna lie, like, he's just born into this world, didn't ask for this, as he gets all of this pressure, all of this beating from his father, and then his mother too. I'm just like, buddy, he comes from a hard life. Not much is going right for him. And honestly, throughout this entire fight, guys, I felt like Naruto vs. Gaara, where Naruto is trying to save Gaara, and sure, the difference here is Naruto and Gaara came from the same past. The difference here is these two didn't, but Deku is trying to lead him in the same way because they do have one similar thing, and that's they want to become a hero, and their idol for that is both All Might. As a young boy, Todoroki watched all of All Might's videos as well on TV all the time in the news, and it motivated him to become a hero in his own way. So yes, he wanted to become a hero, but his father wanted him to become a hero, but like the greatest hero of all time. You know what I mean? The legit greatest. And I don't think he could do that, but he easily can do that. We see even in the stands that pros are saying that he's literally better than half the pros already in the pro scene, you know, for being a hero. So he's already a legend. We already knew this though. And it's funny because people always say this is the first time he used his left side. Kind of and kind of not. In season 1, he used his left side to melt the ice because he used heat, and everyone's like, oh, heat? And that's when we talk about his dual quirks. Because, you know, in season 1, he used the heat to melt off all the ice that he used, kind of when they were protecting the bomb, playing hero villain, or it was, you know, Bakugo versus Deku afterwards. So it's just like legit. That's why I say kind of, because he didn't use flames, he used heat. He used the heat. He didn't actually produce or release the flames. So whereas here, he produced full-fledged flames. They went at 100% to the point where the proctors had to get involved and stop this fight. But even then, they couldn't stop the fight. You know, Midnight all of them, they couldn't stop the fight. They tried to stop the fight. And mind you, first off, before we continue on, the animation, Studio Bones, absolutely amazing. A round of applause. This animation is flawless, dude. That scene where Todoroki actually uses flames and he's about to clash with Deku. Oh my god, dude, the nebula, everything. It looked gorgeous. From the stars to the flames. Actually, like, it like wavelengths. It was moving like. I can't even express it in ways that can properly sound like English. Because how this came out was damn near almost flawless, dude. This animation was fucking incredible. Holy shit, I'm about to lose my voice, dude. I was literally Shoto's dad this entire time. You're like, Shoto! And I'm like, yo, that's me, dude, that's me. And here's the thing, too, is I'm caught up with the manga, and I still get goosebumps watching this, because the OST is flames, the animation is flames. I feel like those two aspects are the thing that really gets manga readers first, then anime watchers, into the anime as well. And things like that. Great adaptation, and great animation, great OST even. They really know how to hype it up. Studio Bones working on My Hero right now, they really know how to hype it up. Almost every episode has some hype scene in it. Even if nothing crazy is happening, there's some hype scene in it. You know? And they really know how to do that. Todoroki come from his past towards Deku coming through his past. Deku's past, now I won't say is the most miserable, but it had its miserable moments where he's always wanted to become a hero and he didn't have a quirk. And then one day, his idol comes up to him, gives him a lock of his hair, and boom! Next thing you know, he's a quirk user, and he is no longer a joke towards all of his childhood friends. He's no longer a joke towards Bakugo, all of them. The irrelevance who were Bakugo always picked on him, you know, for not having a quirk. He has one now. What's good? And he actually fought towards the limits, like to the point where he couldn't even get healed anymore afterwards this. Like, even if he won this fight, and mind you, he didn't win this fight. Spoiler alert. If you didn't watch the episode, why are you watching this review, stupid? But, literally, right? He pushed his limits here. I think they all pushed their limits. Todoroki pushed his limits as well. He has both quirks, and both quirks really contrast well with each other because he can use the maximum amount of freezing quirk because he can just melt it off. But since he wasn't, and he was only using his right side, the freezing quirk, he was making himself slower, his limbs were getting frozen, or kind of, he was getting a little bit of frostbite even. Like, you could see the frost on his face, his arm, his leg, like, it was covering his body kind of a little bit, just some parts, to make him slower and sluggish, and his reflexes were slower, and going into this fight, Deku just didn't know what to do. He only knew one thing, and that's Todoroki always starts off with a massive attack. Because Todoroki can just overwhelm anybody that he faces against to deal this massive attack and win. He showed this throughout this entire tournament here. This entire tournament, he has shown that off easily. So Deku is no exception here because Deku was being completely overwhelmed. Half of his left hand was gone. He used all of his fingers, and then his right arm was frozen. Even some of his fingers on his right arm he used. He literally put his thumb in his cheek, pushed it out, and I think he ripped a little bit of his cheek off and sore that up. I'm like, Jesus, Deku. But here's the thing, Deku's a strategist. Going into this fight, he didn't know what to do. His data on Todoroki, non-existent almost. He had very few information on Todoroki because Todoroki defeated his opponents all in the same way. In a blink of an eye, in a flash, in a heartbeat, because he just wanted to get it over with right away. I guess, you know? I guess at the same time as well, he didn't want to embarrass his dad, because his dad, you know, would give him shit. I don't think he cared about his dad being embarrassed. More along so he didn't want to deal with it. So he didn't do that. But when he actually used his left side quirk and his dad lost his shit, I think that was really funny, dude. I felt the JoJo. Anything else for the JoJo in that? JoJo haters are probably going to get mad at me saying that, because people hate the JoJo community. Because they're like, oh, is it a JoJo reference? It's not a JoJo reference, but it felt like a JoJo reference, you know? He's like, Shoto! And I'm like, yes, dude. This is literally me throughout this entire fight, dude. This is literally me, dude. He lost his shit, dude. He looked up right in the air, and the commentator was like, oh, Endeavor is admired by his son's abilities. I'm like, yep. 100% same, right, dude? This episode was just great. Now, I did it off in a cliffhanger, and I think all you hype beasts that are watching Season 2, just read the manga after this. We don't know when a season 3 is gonna happen, but how well season 2 is doing versus season 1. Because fun fact, season 1 did not do as well as you think because they hardly showed any plot. It was just development of Deku. Season 1 may have well has been Deku and development of Deku and the reality of being a hero at the end versus All Might versus No Moon. So season 1 is basically Deku's story, Deku's prequel. Season 2's actual plot, getting a lot of character development just within this fight. And I'm telling you when I say this, I really felt a Naruto versus Gaara vibe. Naruto trying to save Gaara, you know, come from the same paths. Now Deku and Todoroki did not come from the same paths, but they do have a few things that are similar that help them get to where they are now, to both being very successful, strong heroes. And I'm telling you guys when I say this, when you actually witness Deku control his quirk, it'll be out of this mind. But unfortunately though, at the end, one final clash dealt the punch and just Deku out of the ring. I don't even think it mattered if Deku was going to even be in the ring, because Shoto Todoroki basically had a whole left side that he did not use. So in a way, yes, he was holding back. So when you saw him not hold back, Deku was obliterated. So you can see here that Deku has more potential, because once Deku controls his quirk, he is far stronger than Todoroki. Put the 2 together, All Might. But the thing is, it was Endeavor. I was going to say All Might, Endeavor be number 2, All Might be number 1. But Endeavor doesn't have that ice quirk. Shoto does. That actually can help him become stronger than his father right there and then, which is also something he wants to be as well. But at the same time as well, right, even if that Deku stood in the ring, he would have not been able to move on. They even clarified it. He can't get healed all the way from how much damage he's done to himself. And even then, Todoroki was literally holding back half of his power. So that should say a lot here, that Deku was going all out and Todoroki was using half of his power. And then when he used all of it, he got blown to smithereens and knocked out. I feel like if he had more energy, maybe we'd have to see where that goes. But guys, that's really going to be it. If you enjoyed the review, by all means, hit that like button for me. I'll have Attack on Titan out later today as well. Thank you for watching. I am AkumaNexus. Goodbye.